This is our sub £1,000 Enduro bike from AliExpress. It wasn't quite a plain sailing build, but here it is.
So it should be that, oh dear. Ooh.
The big question though, can it survive a thrashing at a bike park? Before we do get the tyres dirty, let's have a quick recap of the bike itself. Well, it doesn't have a name online, it's just got an overly complicated title telling you every bit of info under the sun. So we shall call it the Warhorse. It's a full 29er, 160mm travel up front, courtesy of some not Fox suspension, and what I shall call Prolins on the back with 155mm. A 1x12 group set that may or may not be Shimano is kind of hard to tell. Pro E4 brakes, which actually have some not bad reviews despite their price tag of just £63 for the pair. Zitto 29er aluminium wheels that actually sound pretty good, and a slew of anodized finishing kit. Sadly then, I still can't ride a bike. I've quite literally still got a pain in the backside, but don't worry, I found someone who can. Some say there is no bar width he can't spin, and no jump line he can't steeze. Who is he? Meet GMBN's silent assassin, for who licensing and copyright reasons will call the Stag. To get us started then, I've sent the Stag down a cruisy blue before we up the game and send him down some tougher runs later. Now this should do a number of things, but help him get a feel for the bike, those kind of first impressions, grip level, what the suspension's like, the handling, and those brakes, whether they stop him or not. So let's catch up with the Stag. Stag. How was it? First impressions of the bike. How did it handle?
The bike was, I'm tearing it up.
Yeah?
I'm gapping.
So you got quite comfy on the bike quite quickly by the sounds of it.
I'm the kind of guy who ride anything.
All right, and then brakes, how were the brakes? Powerful, like after they bedded in, power-wise?
You know what, and I said this to myself while riding down, I wasn't scared of the brakes. There were things that I didn't like. Yeah. Although they weren't bedded in till my first few corners, I felt good on the brakes. I felt comfortable. Okay. I could trust them.
All right, cool.
Because I barely use them, so.
Yeah, and what was it? What was grip like on the sort of the tyre suspension combo?
That was a different story.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you only hit a blue so far. We got to send you on to gnarly stuff. Yeah.
And when I ride a blue, I'm gapping out the corners and coming in sharp and going.
Here, there, and everywhere.
I'm all over the shop, and I'm a dirt jumper. I'm used to not grippy tyres.
So you were right. So you're saying those weren't that grippy?
I'm saying they were familiar and wild.
Okay. Along with the suspension, what was the Prolins like?
The Prolins on the back would probably be really good on the bumps, but on the jumps, on the jumps, I'm running S2 soft. Okay. It's too slompy, but. It's a mountain bike, that's what we're out here to do.
All right, okay, well you sound like you're loving it. So I think then we need to up the ante and get you on some red trails, get you down something harder, because you're having too much fun for my liking. So.
I want to take some limbs off.
All right, Stag, go forth, go on, be gone. Well, wish him luck, people.
This is how we test the bike really, isn't it? That's the one with me. Whoa, there goes the foot on the pedal.
So then, whilst the Stag's out shredding laps, I got pondering down here at the cafe of Bikepark Wales. If this bike is so much more affordable than some of the more well-known brands' versions of an enduro bike, why isn't everybody buying them? Well, there's a few reasons I like to think anyway. Sort of testing and quality control. There doesn't seem to be any. These big Chinese factories are just churning them out. There's no obvious signs that each frame is consistent or put through any kind of testing or quality control. Certainly not that we could see on the website when buying it anyway. Guarantees and warranties, again, there aren't any. If it breaks, you just got to buy another one. But it's the safety aspect that worries me most. This bike might be absolutely fine today whilst they're shredding away. 2 weeks' time, will it be? I mean, it's a bit of a lottery. And I don't think you can really put a price on safety. If it breaks as well, you've just got to buy another. That is what you're paying for.
Oh my days. Is it fit for purpose? We will find out. Top speed.
The Stag has been spotted, the rare beast that he is. Here he comes. Oh, Lord.
Cool. Couple gear changes there.
Oh,
Here we are, back in business. Whoa.
mystery man.
That was mad.
We've upped it. The reds now. Faster, rougher, looser.
Definitely looser.
How was the Warhorse?
The Warhorse on the red trail, I got a bit scared at times.
Did you? In what way? Why? How so?
Well, I felt confident pretty quick from hooling it down the blues, finding some gaps, going fast on berms. So I took that same approach to some of the red trails.
Ah, right.
And yeah, they're much sharper, technical. You've got to be cautious.
Yeah.
The trees get closer, the rocks get tighter, and let's be honest, it didn't go where I put it on every turn.
For what reason? As in, like the grip, or because it wasn't tracking with the suspension?
That's it. I try and lift the fork up, lift the front end up. I start to slip on the pedal. The bike, the fork doesn't come up exactly the place where I want it to. Not to get too technical too quickly.
Yeah.
But it's just not quite as responsive as what I'm used to.
Okay, so like there's no suppleness or plushness, like small bump sensitivity.
Small
and stuff
bump
like that.
sensitivity on this fork is
Nil point.
0.5.
0.5. Okay. And you said the rear shock was a bit too soft. Now, obviously, we could change the spring. This was the recommended spring weight that came on it, but you still too soft.
I'd say that was too soft and unbalanced to start with. So things we can adjust, things we can improve.
Yeah, you're right. Things that can be changed. Now, you said obviously it was quite slippery as well. Tyres are a very hard compound and they are tubed, so you've pumped them up for your riding quite firm.
Too right.
Which obviously does kind of make a hard compound tyre run at a hard pressure. Not the greatest combo for grip.
Good fun though.
Good fun, maybe for some, maybe for yourself. But I think that's, obviously for a newer rider, something that they might find pretty tricky, right?
Great for bouncing around the car park on your front wheel, but not so good on the loose, muddy, puddly Welsh hillside. I can see.
All right. Well, whilst we send you off to refuel, I'm going to check out the bike and then we'll get you on a black run. Right then, how is the Warhorse faring after just 2 runs? Well, there are definite signs of wear and tear. There's nothing major, broken, mechanically bending, breaking, snapping, anything like that just yet. And hopefully there won't be at all, I should add. But wear and tear, there definitely is. Huge marks on the chainstay down here, absolutely battered already. There's no factory fitted kind of rubber protection or even any kind of clear casing on it, if you like. And the chain's just absolutely beaten the heck out of that. There's also quite a lot of wear and tear, and said they were struggling with grip on the pedals. And you actually notice it's really worn on the anodizing there already. And that's where it's higher, the axle of the pedal is higher than the cage around it. So your foot's sitting quite high on that. Spoke tension, not too bad all the way around. Certainly some croaking and groaning going on. I definitely would recommend we check those after the end of the day. Gears are skipping quite a bit. The fake Shimano, maybe not all it's cracked up to be, but, it could be an initial setup there, so I don't want to be too harsh on it. Brakes, now they told me they feel great, which is amazing for £63, but the problem I've spotted is that the end cap here, which covers the piston inside the lever, is completely missing. That's a little bit worrying, but anyway, it does mean we need to now send them up onto the gnarliest runs of the day.
Cool.
Whilst the bike is being put through its paces, then let's compare it to a modern-day enduro bike to see what kind of similarities there are. And it just so happens I've got one here. This is my Canyon Strive CFR, an absolute enduro race weapon. But what do the two have in common? Let's talk numbers. Head angle first. Well, the Strive has a head angle of 63 degrees. The Warhorse has a claimed head angle of 65 degrees, but actually it's closer to 67, 68. The seat tube angle on the Strive when the shapeshifter's not engaged is 76.5. Now on paper, the Warhorse is a 76 degrees, pretty similar, but it actually turns out when measured to be closer to 72. The reach on the Strive, a whopping 500, where it's 470 on the Warhorse, both in a size large. The wheelbase, well, this is 1291 on the large, whereas the Warhorse is a 1232. That's in millimeters, nearly a 60mm difference. Travel, Strive, 160, 170 respectively. The Warhorse, 155 out the rear, 160 up front. Other similarities, full 29er, full 1x12 group sets, dropper posts, but at this point we now see some differences start to creep in. The Canyon, full carbon fibre. The Warhorse, completely aluminium. Both do have internal cable routing. How this is executed, how it's done, and the ease of routing cables is, shall we say, noticeable between the two. And then there's this, the shapeshifter. Via a lever on the bar just here, I can actually alter the travel of the frame from 160 down to 140. This actually also adjusts the angles and the bottom bracket height of the bike as well to make it feel more trail bike-esque. Great for when you want to climb, and then you just unlock it essentially for when you want to descend. Other big notable differences between the frame, reach adjustable headset. I can actually change the reach of the bike here, something you can't do on the other one. Anyways, enough of this. Let's get back to shredding.
Oh, that made a noise.
Here he is then, the Stag returns.
Hey, Rich.
How are we doing?
Absolutely great. I made it back down.
It's still looking in one piece, so let's rewind. At the beginning of the day hitting the blues, you were pretty comfy on it, everything was working.
Having a great time.
I dare say you enjoyed it.
I love a blue trail.
Yeah, right, and then we upped it with the red. And we had a few little issues and niggles sort of creep in.
Yeah, I lost a few gears, yeah, that kind of thing.
The end of like the cylinder on the brake lever here, a few creaky spokes, things like that. And you've just come down from the black run. How was that?
I'm bone shaken.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
You've got a bad back.
Ooh. Yeah, you have now as well. We've already written off the Stag. Oh no.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It was pretty loose up there.
In what sense? Sort of. Let's talk about the handling of the frame, like the angles. It's a fairly steep head angle on it.
It is a steep bike.
Quite a short bike.
It is quite a short, steep bike. I do like that. It's what I like.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what it came down to was setup, adjustability, making that bike suit me exactly how I want it. That's where I think it lacks compared with maybe a high-end kit.
No ability to tune the suspension?
On that shock, I think really they look good. Don't get me wrong, they look good.
But they don't actually do anything.
But they're kind of there just to look the part, I think. I made a few adjustments, I wasn't getting much back.
Right, and I've noticed quite a big failing here. This cable was...
Oh, here it goes.
What's that doing there?
So that was the dropper post cable.
Yeah, it keeps
and towards the end of the day, that became part of the grip as it just worked its way more and more out.
So where did it fail?
It probably slipped out the pinch bolt at the bottom there. So
Gutted. I mean, these things do happen, but it's not even a full gnarly day's worth of riding, and that's already kind of gone wrong. Yeah. I've noticed the chain's quite pitted a lot more on
we've got a lot of paint.
Chainstay.
I mean, it needs a repaint.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
You know, black run, rockier, rootier, looser. How are the tyres?
They're not made for that kind of thing, are they? Really? Nothing wrong with a tyre like that on a cross country track, but this is Bikepark Wales, Rich.
It is.
This is the hardcore.
It is. Okay, well, look, I don't want to rain on this bike's parade too much because actually we've got to remember it's a complete bike for I think about £860. So for anyone getting into mountain biking, I don't think you can really fault it too much. The main things that worry me are things like lack of quality control, lack of testing.
I mean, this isn't the original stem that you bought for the job, is it? It wasn't. You weren't confident to put that on.
Yeah, so the stem that actually came had lots of sharp edges on it. Owen didn't feel good putting it on there because he thought it'd actually score into
I mean, that's quality control to a T, isn't it? You're
There
getting
we go.
variation in your products.
Right, what are we thinking from a maintenance point of view? Keeping it running.
Rich, I work in a local bike shop. I know what you've got to do to keep a normal bike running, however expensive it is. Based on how many little things have gone wrong in today's ride, I do think this is above average.
Oh,
Do you know
okay,
what I
so
mean?
requiring more maintenance.
I think with the issues that have happened, they were a bit unpredictable, and to own a bike like this, you've got to learn quickly on how to look after your own bike with things like that happening on a daily ride.
I'd be tempted to agree with you there, buddy.
But you can't beat it. Under 100 grand. Under 100 grand?
100 grand?
Under a grand for a bike that looks that good. You've got to weigh up your pros and cons, don't you?
And that is one of the pro/con right there. But I do think a bike like this has its place. Now, what I think we should do, though, is follow this up in about 6 months' time and see how it's faring after a proper rest of the winter's ride and a good shred on it.
You've got some ideas.
I've got
what
something
are you
for
do
you,
on
Stag.
it next?
I've got something for you.
Oh, gosh.
But you're going to have to stay tuned. Let us know in the comments down below. What do you think about AliExpress parts, counterfeit or not? AliExpress complete bikes like this? Maybe we should do a cross-country version. I won't give that to you, don't worry. I won't give that to you. Let us know down below. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Thank you, Stag.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you next time.